Morning, everybody. How are we doing? Morning, CK. Morning, Mark. Morning, Vitali. Morning, Paul, Blue Trader. Sunny in Pontevedra. Always good. Morning, Virginia. I think I've already said that. Morning, Firechrist. Morning, Peter. Morning, FTNet. Morning, Worcester. Check. How are we doing? Happy Monday. It's December. It's Christmas. I can officially get the Christmas tree down now. At some point. It's my son's birthday in a few days' time, so we can't do Christmas until he's had his birthday. So we get the birthday done, then we get the Christmas done. Morning, Danny. So yeah, December. November is over. Thank God. Done. So refresh. Back to square one. Always nice to start a new month. Regardless of whether you've had an amazing month or a crap month, it's always good to start a new month because everything goes to zero. You can forget everything that's happened in the past because it's gone. It's a new month. You're only as good as your last month, and every month you reset yourself, which is always a good thing to do. That's annoying. The US rallying. Never mind. So we will start off with the news as usual. So today, basically, we're going to do a look at the news, what's coming up this week. Seems to be a strong US dollar at the open. Yeah, big strong US dollar push at the open. Can't see anything particularly exciting on the news feed, but anyway. So we'll start with the news. We'll have a look at what's happened over the weekend. We'll whiz through all the pairs, have a look at everything. I've got fairly decent exposure on at the moment. All in profit, just waiting for stuff to play out, which hopefully today I'll get something banked. Euro US dollar hopefully will go in the bank today. That's on its way to target. Euro pound as well is doing pretty well, or was doing pretty well. That was an ADR reversal. Weird ADR reversal. EA took an ADR reversal on this on Friday. We had this weird hit there. I can't work out what happened there, but was it there or was it from somewhere else? I can't remember when that trade was taken. But anyway, I've got a weird euro pound trade on, which is in profit, so I don't really care. First like, Blue Trader, good man. Everybody, hit the thumbs. Can't actually see. There we go. Hit thumbs, give stream a like. If you don't like it, don't give it a like. I don't care. Right, so news. Today obviously is Monday. This week is non-farm payroll week, so we've got non-farm payroll on Friday. We're all building up to non-farm on Friday. The news today is fairly light. We've got PMIs for manufacturing this afternoon for the US dollar, 3 o'clock, half an hour after market open. Forecasting to be a bounce. We've got pretty much nothing else today. Waller is speaking a little bit later this evening. We've had retail sales for the Aussie this morning, but that's it. So the whole afternoon basically is just ISM. That's it. That's all we got. Morning, Harold. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we've got CPI for the Swiss franc, forecast to be negative. Again, they're looking at going potentially negative interest rates for Swiss. So weak Swiss franc unless anything kicks off in Russia moving forward. So looking to take longs on everything against the Swiss franc. Jolts as well tomorrow. That's the only other thing. We've also got the GDP for Australia on Wednesday. GDP is very hit and miss. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes we get huge moves off of it. Other times it's totally flat. So it's a little bit hit and miss. It is a quarterly figure, so it's a good one. One that the institutions take note of. Quarterly figures are much more important than monthly. So that is potential Australian movement on Wednesday. We've got Bailey speaking at 9 o'clock on Wednesday as well. So you need to be a little careful of the FTSE Wednesday morning. It may open fairly weak while we're waiting for Bailey to talk. He didn't say anything last week. We had Bailey speaking on Friday. Didn't really say anything of any interest. So I'm not convinced he's going to say anything new there. It's a pre-recorded interview at the Global Boardroom Digital Conference. Nothing particularly exciting. So probably won't get anything off that. Then it's ADP non-farm on Wednesday as usual. We usually get a whipsaw there, but it gives us the indication of what potentially is coming on Friday. Services PMI then comes out on Wednesday, which matches up with the manufacturing. We've got Powell speaking 6:45. Where's he speaking on Wednesday? New York Times Dealbook Summit. Audience questions expected. So there will be press questions there. So that could be volatile on Wednesday. Unemployment claims on Thursday. And then we go into, obviously, Friday, which is non-farm payroll. So the unemployment rate for the CAD and for the US released, we are expecting unemployment to bounce, which will be negative US. So if that does go up, it will be negative US. If it goes up by more than 4.2, it will be very negative US. So that's Friday. So that's your news this week. Non-farm payroll week is always very light, so it's always back-end weighted. So Monday, Tuesday, we usually on these weeks, we either get one or two things happening. We get rotation on Monday and Tuesday, and then we start moving on Wednesday when we get that number come out. Or we get a nice strong move Monday, Tuesday, and typically they tend to revert it on Wednesday through into non-farm, and then non-farm will do what the hell it likes. So good morning, Barry. So yeah, we'll see what happens. So that's this week. Weekend news, not an awful lot. We had a bit of news come out from Zelensky this morning. Ukraine wants to retake occupied land by diplomacy. Not sure what that means. Germany are upping their weapon deliveries to Ukraine. The UK have also just pledged another 19 million to Ukraine. So we are getting further and further behind Ukraine, or more behind Ukraine, I should say. It seems to me that the European countries really want to step the escalation up as fast as possible before Trump gets in, because Trump is going to be a bit of a wild card when he enters, and he could pull all support completely. So I think it seems to me bubbling that especially Germany and also France are trying to get NATO a little bit more involved in December before Trump gets in, with the potential of saying, right, let's just sort this out before Trump gets in, so that they are committed. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But anyway, so we need to just keep an ear to the ground on that, as we always do. Head of the French audit office, France's financial and economic situation at the moment is dangerous. That probably explains the euro this morning. A little bit of a downward movement on the euro across the board, especially against the pound. So a little bit of a strong pound as well today. So apart from that, over the weekend we had Kazakh coming out saying that interest rates are going to continue to decline for the euro. So again, bearish euro. So we've had bearish euro news over the weekend from Talking Heads, which obviously is going to drop the euro today. That's about it, really. That's all I could see over the weekend. There's the retail, which came out as a tick up for Australia, but retail doesn't really do a lot. France firmly against budget blackmail. Okay, don't know what that means. Seems to be a lot of trouble in France over the weekend. And there's this BRICS thing. Somebody posted in the Discord group this morning about this, which did make me laugh. So that's what Trump posted at the weekend. Basically, a massive threat to the entire East. So basically saying, if any of you lot anywhere do not use the US dollar as your main currency for trade, over 50% of all transactions worldwide are US dollar based. Oil, gold, everything's done in US dollars. If you all stop doing that and you decide to use this, we're not going to talk to you anymore, and we're going to put 100% tariffs on you, which means you can't import anything into the US. That's going to bankrupt the US, Donald. Wake up, yeah? If your people can't buy anything from anywhere else in the country, phones, for a start, you're going to go bankrupt, yeah? So it did make me laugh. This is the I keep saying about the Trump. If you've traded through a Trump presidency like I have, and if this is your first one, This is what trading is going to be like for the next 4 years. You will sit there. The dollar will just go boing, 400 ADR. And you'll be like, what the hell? And then on the news feed about 2 minutes later, he will have done this. This is the new norm from January, people. He just says stupid stuff like this. You cannot put 100% tariffs on everybody in the world because they don't want to use the dollar anymore. It's utterly ridiculous. But anyway, so obviously, just be aware. This is normal. This is what you get. Yeah, remember this here, yeah? We're going to put 20% tariffs on Canadian imports. No, we're not. This is what you're going to get. So, yeah, that was quite amusing. So that was news over the weekend. 100% tariffs, basically. So what you're basically saying is, hey, everybody that lives in the US, if they don't decide to spend any US dollars, everything you buy is going to double in price. Are you happy with that? Because it's not going to be, they're going to put 100% tariffs on importing stuff. The people that sell stuff to the US are just going to double their prices, Donald. Wake up. Or they're not going to bother supplying you, in which case you're stuffed. Yeah. Good luck making cars without Chinese components. Tesla. I bet Elon Musk doesn't like that. Anyway, so yeah, there we go. So that was the over weekend news. Markets this morning, long the DAX. Not a very clean break on the DAX or the FTSE today. So pre-market range too small on the DAX today. So 5-minute ORB's gone in, and that's triggered a long. It's not going anywhere though. And pre-market break short on the FTSE. And we've got an inside bar on the 5-minute. So total indecision on everything this morning. Market's not woken up yet. So wait and see what happens to that. Look at those horrible wicks. Wiki. It was wiki on Friday as well. Absolutely shocking week last week for opening range. It wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't good. It just didn't make any money last week. Made a smallish loss last week. Can't trade this. This is impossible to make money out of unless you are the type of trader that can foresee a range every single day and literally just buys the lows and sells the highs, in which case you've got a DeLorean. But if you had a DeLorean, you would have just bought the lows and sold the highs last week and you'd be absolutely loaded. If you're trying to trade any kind of momentum or any type of mean reversion trading strategy, dead. Yeah, you just can't make money in this. Look at it. This is the ultimate definition of rotational markets. Yeah, this is where you struggle to make money, when the markets just sit and do not move. You can't do anything with it, because to make money, you need the market to move from a price to a price. Just didn't do it. So awful. So hopefully we pick up this week. It's December. December equals Santa rally. So we quite often get the markets going into a Santa rally in December. So we'll see what happens. These are the last Decembers we've had. So you tend to get a decent rally in December. We had one there which didn't work out, but December is usually a bull month. So that's what we'd be looking at happening. So if we do start weak, there's a good opportunity to buy a dip at some point early December, and by Christmas you'll be quids in. So a lot of people play the Santa rally strategy, but you know, we are up at kind of all-time high scenario here on the FTSE. So it's difficult to buy an all-time high in December, but if we can pull down for, you know, 2 or 3 days somewhere into this area. So look at the last week's pullback, basically. So look for a pullback on last week's price action, of which there wasn't really much on the S&P either, was there? So that's your low of the week, high of the week, high of the month, 2-week or 3-week high. I mean, there's not a lot to pull back into, is there, really? So any test of yesterday's low or the previous day's low or the previous day's low there. So anywhere in that zone there, ADR, something like that, would be a good buy this week. And it's basically a hit and hold type strategy. But we are up at the highs, so difficult one to trade at the moment. But just be aware of that. Decembers are usually a bull month, usually a bear month for the US dollar. But obviously the US is rallying today. But, you know, we've got Trump. This is the difference. Yeah, I've just marked out on that chart the last 4 years worth of Santa rallies. Yeah, this isn't Trump era. That was Biden era. This is Trump era. Trump could just open his mouth and completely collapse the stock markets. So I wouldn't bank on a Santa rally this month. But anyway, we'll see. FTSE's trying to test lower the session. Not really doing a lot though. So we'll have a look at FX. Just for those in the members streams quickly before we go into that. The strategies we've got on forward test in there. The lazy trader strategy. This is the all-time figure so far on this since we started last month. So we've only been going a month on it, but up 2.6%. Pretty much in line with the back testing that we did. So looking good. So forward testing is working exactly the same, producing nice steady profits almost daily. We've got some drawdown on. We've got a couple of trades. We've got 4 trades which are going to get out at break evens. They're not really in any drawdown. Nothing's really in any drawdown. The only thing that's got a little bit of drawdown is euro pound, which, yeah, it's going to take another one today. And it can take up to 6 trades before it starts to do drawdown control. So there's plenty of room for that just to bounce. You know, all we need is another trade taken, which will be today. If this remains down at the lows today, another trade will be taken. Obviously, we'll be out of that tomorrow. So it's all doing really well, that strategy. I am quite surprised. Well, I'm not surprised because it's a position trading strategy. Of course it's going to work. But anyway, I'm quite surprised how nicely it's generating profit and how little trouble it's getting into. The trend pullback strategy is obviously a stop loss based strategy. Therefore, obviously, it's going to take a lot of more drawdown because it uses stops and it just gets out the market because we tell it to. So obviously, those types of strategies will not produce as good consistent results. But it's sitting in 10% of drawdown since we started it. As I said, we're just waiting for a run. We haven't. This is a trend strategy for those that aren't in the members group. This is a trend pullback strategy. We haven't had anything trending. Yeah, so it's going to find it hard to make money in a range bound market. So yeah, that's just what's happening at the moment. We're waiting for a trend to start. So I could do with a Santa rally because that will drop the yen and it will start some of this stuff that we're trading trending. This is basically running just on Swiss franc and yen pairs, and obviously we've had not a lot of movement on them over the last sort of 3 weeks or so. So this one struggling a little bit. Nice sell on there. That's going to generate a nice profit. It's just had some really unlucky, not so much break evens, but it's had some really unlucky pullbacks, which have just taken it out of things which would have hit target. You know, it's just had one of those runs. But again, it's working exactly as it was in the back tests. It was going into 10% of drawdown quite regularly and then making it back very, very quickly. So as you can see, target just on these trades here is 3,700. So all we need is something just to have a good couple of ADRs, and that'll be down there and it will all be sitting in nice profit. So just waiting on that. But yeah, doing really well. But both strategies, forward testing working exactly as back tests, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, when we do all of our robustness testing, our detailed strategy back testing, when you put it on forward test, you should expect the same results as you got in back test, and that's exactly what they're producing. So it gives us a lot of confidence in what we did in those back tests, which were very nice profits. So yeah, all going good. Morning, Chucks. Morning, JC. What's the concept behind lazy trader? It's basically a scalping strategy. So Just trying to find a decent example. Basically, so all it is a scalping strategy. So when the market has a down day, it buys, and it looks for a very small scalp of a, I think I set it up as a third of an ADR. Yeah, third of an ADR. So basically what it does is at the end of every day, 9 o'clock, it scalps long, looks for a third of an ADR during the Asian session. So it scalps the Asian session, basically. Very simple. But if you want to know more about the strategy, go and look at the members. It's all on. Now I've got to find the video. Which video was it in? Oh, there you go. Yeah. So that one there is probably the main one that explains the strategy in detail. So that's from 3 weeks. I mean, basically, permutation test of Phil's lazy trader strategy. And then we did a follow-up on it. But if in the members group in Discord, the EA is in there, so you can test it yourself. So all the EAs for everything that I develop in the members groups goes into the channel, so people can use the EAs that I build to do all the testing, etc. And we've got a fantastic EA at the moment. Just quickly while I'm on that, those that are in the members group that know what I'm working on, with the support resistance zone EA, some people have asked me to put it out there so they can use it because it's so good. Let me just stop that a minute. So what I've done is I've put automation into the EA. Yeah, so what it does basically, it's really simple. Every day it just goes, stick the sell box up, stick the buy box up. Yeah, it's an always in strategy. And just trade. Yeah. And make money. And that's exactly what it does. I've done a load of enhancements to it, which is, as you can see, it's doing some other stuff here. But I've turned it into an auto trading strategy. And the equity curves so far of the testing that I've done are phenomenal. It's quadrupling accounts in a year. Because literally all it's doing is buying and selling on yesterday's high-low extensions. And as long as the market does this, it just banks money every single... It's a bit like Phil's lazy trader strategy. It just banks money every day. Look at it. It just does this. It just banks money. Just banks money over and over. Just bank every day. Banks money. And it produces a phenomenal equity curve. So I'm going to do some testing on this. This is what I'm doing this afternoon. We're probably going to cover this in more detail in tomorrow's live stream, in the members stream. Because there's got to be a problem with it. But I did some very simple testing on it on Friday, across multiple instruments. And it, I took a 10 grand account to 50 grand in 5 years. So it's doubling an account per instrument every year. And more in some cases. I haven't fully robustness tested it yet, because literally all I've done is I've created super simple logic. Because you know what these buttons do? They just place the blocks. So all I've done is basically said, pretend every day at a specific time you're pressing those buttons to the EA. And I've just said, if it gets in with price action, take a trade. And when you get down to the other one, get out of the short and go long. So it's an always in strategy. It's never flat. And it's phenomenal. But there's got to be something wrong with it. Because you know what I'm like? Every time I find a strategy that looks like this, it's too good to be true. And it automatically adjusts targets to averages. So when it finds your average price, it automatically gets you out at an average, above average. So it's constantly banking. Every now and again, it will take a small loss like that one, on a rally, basically. But yes, interesting. So it's always looking for about that much profit, but it won't just get out there. If this carries on like that, it will go, yeah, carry on. And when you go bullish, then we'll get out. And it makes these huge little spikes in the P&L. But there's got to be something wrong with it. So I'm going to spend this afternoon testing it and trying to break it, because there's got to be something else. Something is good, you know. I can't have just stumbled across the Holy Grail. But it's a really stable strategy. So, you know, it's just taking advantage of what the market does, which is 80% of the time, as we know, it does that. It just doesn't do anything. So as long as it's not doing anything, same as Phil's lazy trader strategy, if it's not doing anything, we'll just take the money out of it. And when it starts to do something, then we'll deal with the problem. But it's no problem 80% of the time, so let's just bank it. So yeah, it's really good. But it does, the only downside to it that I've found is that it does spend an awful long time in some trades. So this one here, for example, it's been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. About 1, 2, 3, but 3.5, 4 weeks, it can get stuck in stuff. But other stuff it won't get stuck in, it just banks. So you get the odd thing where it just gets stuck for a few weeks. Which means it might be worth using the swap filter in real world trading to try and filter out some of the spread costs, the swap costs, because that's where I see the main problem being. So it didn't get out there. And now you'll see this pops up there because our average has changed. We just move up. So now we're looking for a trade-off of the double bottom. It's really good. I surprised myself on Friday. I tested this thinking, it would just go wrong. And it didn't. It's often the way with strategies. You test something, you think, let's just try that. And you're convinced it's complete crap. But what actually happens is it's exactly what you needed to do. But you stumble across these things by accident a lot of the time. So this is a bad example because this is one of the ones. This is what I was trading at testing at the end, because this is probably one of the worst instruments, the Aussie dollar CAD, because it did get stuck for ages. But anyway, we'll cover that tomorrow. So carrying on with today, let's just see where the indices have got to. Nowhere. So we're completely stuck. There's no volume today. Market's flat. DAX half an hour in, no movement. FTSE initial cash balance, we're sitting at that, so there's nothing today. No volume in the market again. God, I hope it's not going to be like this all the way to Christmas. We'll come back to that in a bit. Right, so news-wise this week, obviously we know we've got PMIs this afternoon. So be aware of the US dollar movement this afternoon. Everything else we've got is very, very heavy on US news this week. So we'll get a lot of movement potentially on the US this week. We've got Canadian unemployment as well, which is potentially going to move the market. But apart from that, it's fairly light. Swiss franc, maybe. But it's all about the US this week. So be aware of what you've got coming up. So if you've got US dollar exposure, like at 3 o'clock this afternoon, if I'm sitting in this afternoon, it's going down there before the news, because there's no point in potentially letting that go into drawdown. Bank it. You can always stick a trade back on again, but you can't get that profit back if it disappears. So just be aware of the news this week, especially with your US dollar positions and exposure, because there's a lot of potential movement coming on that. We've had nothing really over the weekend that's affected the market. ADRs so far today, there is only one US dollar Swiss. That is your only ADR hit. That is actually a gap down of 16, so a quarter of an ADR gap down at the open. So that is an ADR hit, but there is a quarter of an ADR of opening spread gap there. So that potentially might be the actual average daily range. So there's a potential little short play on that one. But this US dollar is pretty damn strong at the moment, so just be a bit careful trading against it. RSIs, the only RSI you've got is the euro pound. That's coming down incredibly hard today, which I've got a short on. So that's extended on RSI to the downside, so we're looking for a pop out of that. However, that double bottom coming up is probably where you would want to get out of shorts. I'm just going to set a target down there. What's that? 117, 130. I'll go with the monthly low. So I'm just going to target last month's low, which is ADR today. For that one, because that is already extended on the RSI, so we're likely to get a little bit of a bounce out of that. Not taking longs. So those are your only RSIs. That's also extended on the 4 hour. You're down to the 20 level on the 4 hour. That's just about to light up the 20 level as well. So nicely extended on the 4 hour. So again, usual, we're just going to get a pop out of the 4 hour RSI extension. Could well continue down. So we'll see what happens. Morning, Chucks. Morning, Reverend. I think I've already said morning to Chucks, but morning again. Right, so let's have a look at where we are with everything. I'm going to whiz through the yens first of all. So I'm still, the only yen exposure I've got is the US dollar yen at the moment. I'm buying that. Apart from that, I'm not involved in any other yen pairs at the moment because I still don't know exactly what they are doing. There's lots of news coming out of the yen over pretty much every day. We're getting something coming out of the yen. There seems to be a lot of confusion as to whether it's strong, whether it's weak. US government bond market dysfunction eases. We've had a lot of confusion in the market since we had the intervention. So again, still confused. The only thing that's really moved properly has been the Swiss and the US against the yen. All the other yens, as you can see, after the intervention leg, are in shock. Yeah, we've just not really gone anywhere. We're completely contracted ADRs back to what they were before the intervention and non-directional. So not really a lot you can do with the yen. I would only be wanting to long against the yen as I am with the US yen because of the swap costs. So if I'm going to hold long term, I need it to be bullish, basically. So all the yen pairs are kind of all over the place at the moment. Market not really knowing what to do with them. So we've got the all-time highs, the intervention lows. Until we kind of come and retest one of those, you are literally flipping a coin on any yen trade that you take, and there's nothing wrong with that. Obviously it's going to go one way or the other. I just don't have a real clue whether or not we're going to be long-term bullish or long-term bearish on the yen moving forward. So I'm just going to trade in line with swap, which for me is longing everything against the yen. So the danger of that obviously is if it kicks off in Russia, the yen is going to massively increase in power and this thing's going to come and test this low. So it's a difficult thing to trade. Normal RSI extensions, you'll probably find will work most of the time because the thing's not really going anywhere. So if we get a big strong move intraday, there's going to be RSI extensions and ADR extensions that you can mean revert because it's not trending, it's not going anywhere. So you can kind of trade it in either direction, but obviously if you do get in short and you find that you have to scale in and hold it for a few weeks, it's going to cost a lot of money to do that. So be aware. I've got my EA set to long only, or rather, I've got my EAs all set in line with swaps, but I'm only auto trading the US dollar yen, which means I'm only looking for longs, and I've got long on from that RSI extension here. 2 positions on that. That was actually an hourly. So this hourly RSI extension is what I took. And we've got bullish divergence at the moment from Friday's price action and Friday's entry. So looking for a push back up into there. Obviously, US dollar strength, which we've got coming in this morning. So we've just had a reversal alert also on the hourly. So there's a bit of bullish price action coming in. But the yens, I'm just really not that interested in from a fundamental perspective because I don't think they know what they're doing at the moment. And the market doesn't. But I have to assume that the market is going to want to return to its default, which is longing against the yen because it is a carry trade. So I'm going to do the same until I'm proven wrong, which could quite possibly be very soon. But anyway, we'll see. So yeah, longing the yen. And all the yen pairs, basically, I'll be looking for RSI extensions, ADR extensions to the downside, just to take those little bounce backs. Obviously, you've got things like the euro at the moment. The euro is getting absolutely creamed because they've been dropping interest rates fast. Their CPI is coming down fast. Everything points to them continuously dropping interest rates, which is only going to do one thing to the euro. So this, obviously, with a yen which is neutral and not doing anything, you're always going to get the yen moving because of the other cross. So if the euro is weak, euro yen will come down. If the pound is strong, pound yen will go up. But the yen isn't the thing that's moving the market. The opposite crosses. So in this case, obviously, euro yen's coming down. Swiss yen is also coming down because we've got a weak Swiss franc. And other currencies which are neutral, well, there's not really anything that's particularly strong at the moment, will do the opposite. So at the minute, looking for long opportunities. So any double bottom bounces you come to, any weekly lows, monthly lows, worth buying up. But at the minute, if we do get any strength in the yen, likelihood is it'll obviously unravel twice as quick as it usually does as to the speed that it actually gets to wherever it gets to. So yeah, so those are your yens. Aussie dollar at the moment. Last news we had for the Aussie dollar last week was the CPI coming out as previous. So we were forecasting a large bounce on CPI for the Aussie. That hasn't happened. We got exactly as we had before, which is good. It means that they are kind of getting inflation under control, which means that they have got the opportunity to drop interest rates. Their interest rates are at 4.35 though, so in line with everybody else at the moment without having to reduce rates. So there's not really a reason for them to need to reduce rates, but they've now got that option on the table to be able to do it. So for the Aussie, it's kind of neutral to bearish for medium term. So you're better off trying to look for shorts than longs potentially. But obviously news can change at any time. But as you can see with something like the Aussie CAD, both commodity pairs were not doing anything. So last trade I had on that one was back there, which was a long, which got out of with a small profit. Could have got a lot more out of that, an awful lot more out of that, but just not moving. So you had a short, which was an ADR hit there, A-shaped recovery. Apart from that, there's been no signals on it, really, on the hourly. 4 hourly, you've had a few more on the RSI 10. It's been a little bit more moving, but all of those played out beautifully. So it's just a case of waiting for a setup on that one. Same with the Swiss franc as everything else. It's just dead flat, sideways, nothing you can do with it. So 4 hours, I'd be looking to take 80-20s, so long and short there. But it's flat, nothing to do. Hourly, couple of opportunities off the news last week, but yeah, it's just not really doing much at the moment. There's that sort of inverted Batman, if you like, which is a bearish price action pattern to come and test these lows, but we've sat around for 4 days doing nothing. So all reset basically, could go anywhere. You've got propulsion gap targets to the downside, you've got propulsion gap targets to the upside. You're in the middle of a range. There's absolutely no reason to trade this because you're bang in the middle of a range, the worst possible place to take a trade from. So wait for it to get down here or up here somewhere, RSI extension or an ADR hit. But if it doesn't do anything, sit there and do nothing. Aussie New Zealand, got out shorts on that last week. There was opportunities to go long if you were taking them last week here. So you would have had a nice little move on that. You would have got in somewhere around there of about 3/4 of an ADR. I would be looking for it to come back up to this area here. So that's where I'll be looking to get in short if it gets up there, which will be an RSI or an ADR hit to get in short. Swaps are too expensive to go long. So if you did take that one, obviously you've double bottomed. You've had a reverse alert just go in. So there was a reverse alert on it last week here. So that would have been your reversal and retest. Didn't get anywhere. You've just had the reversal and retest again because it's just put in an ever so slightly lower low last week. That candle there which was basically a double bottom. But there's your second reversal. So either that one will hold, will break that high, and will come and test this accumulations. You've got 150 ADR to the upside, or it will break down. And if it breaks down, you've got loads of support, monthly lows here. So you've only got an ADR before you're hitting the next batch of buyers. So yeah, holding up very well. I'm looking for shorts on this, so I'd rather see it push up and then getting short. But there is an opportunity for a long, which you may already be in from that extension last week. You may have been out on it, but more likely you're just sitting in it, break even at the moment. Aussie US, got longs on this one at the minute. Not really going anywhere. Hasn't been going anywhere since I got in back here. God, it was even longer than that ago, wasn't it? Back, I can't even see where the initial entry was on that. There it was. That was the initial entry on an ADR reversal. So it was extended on the hourly, but it was also an ADR 125. So I got in on that initial, looking for a bounce back up into these propulsion gaps. We got a 2-day drop. Second entry was taken. I was playing around with the limit orders. Accidentally got into one there because I updated the EA and put the limit order buttons on. Put a limit order in and forgot to take it off. So I've accidentally got 2 positions on, but it doesn't matter. So at the moment, I can target that high as my target. But if you hadn't have taken that second order, your average is about here. So you can still target that high, but obviously pushing up into those propulsion gaps is where we're looking to go. However, this is dependent on the US dollar. So this week is all about the US. We've got PMIs for services and manufacturing. We've got unemployment rate, non-farm payroll. There's so much news on the US this week. So I very much expect us to break out of the range this week. Right now, you're bang in the middle. You can't do anything. So it's either going to be a weak US or a strong US. Whichever one of those it is the way it will go. So at the moment, I'm looking for a weak US. If we get a strong US, I shall have to scale in. Next entry for me is here, which is basically down at the monthly lows from last month. So that's last month's low. That's the 2-week low. So this whole area here basically is downside support, which will be my 3rd position, or rather 4th position because I've got an extra one on. If that breaks, however, we've got this news wick, which is about 225 ADR away. So that's literally the next downside support. But that is just a news wick. Can't remember what that was. August. Don't know. But anyway, so that's your next downside support. So it's not really doing anything at the moment. So those are your Aussies. That's what I've got on those. Remind me, please, are you trading in Forex or DarwinX? Forex. Forex. Forex is Forex. DarwinX is indices. So this is the DarwinX account. This is index. My index trade. Oh my God, look at the gap on this thing. It's almost like it's a bank holiday. Look at this price action. Basically, that shows you there is absolutely no liquidity in this market. When you get price action like this with these wicks, this is algorithmic trading. They're reaching to try and get orders filled because there's no volume in the market. When you gap, I mean, gapping in the first hour of the market being open just shows you there's just no participation this morning. It's just dead. So buy the lows, sell the highs, but yeah, it's dead as a doornail, this thing today. The only reason I trade DarwinX is because they've got the FTSE. I haven't got the FTSE on Forex. So, and DarwinX is one of the oldest brokers. I've been with DarwinX for about 15 years. But it's a UK broker, so it's 1 to 30 leverage. So with indices, it doesn't matter. It's only Forex I need higher leverage. So those are your Aussies. CAD Swiss, totally sideways at the minute. again, last week we had this big Swiss franc, or rather weak Canadian move. So this is the Canadian move caused by Trump saying that he was going to put import duties on the CAD. And then everyone realizing Canada doesn't export anything to the US much, so it doesn't make any difference. But anyway, they haven't managed to pull this one back because we had some Swiss franc movement. But big propulsion gap targets to the upside, so there's a good chance this will rally up there. We've got the Canadian unemployment rate coming out on Friday, obviously, which is going to be the rally or dump the CAD. But you couldn't do anything with it last week. Totally dead. Sorry, I'm a bit yawny this morning because I had a really bad night's sleep last night. Just had one of those nights where you just can't get to sleep. Systems running around in my head usually. So we've got this propulsion gap at the moment holding from Monday. So they are reselling this. If we break that today, we're likely to basically try and get back to the origin of that move. So yeah, potential move on that one up this week, but nothing you could do with it last week. You would have got in long there. Oops, that's a bad line. That support area there. So yeah, looks good for longs at the moment from last week, but it's kind of just gone sideways, so nothing much to do with it. Canadian dollar interest rate wise, they're kind of falling in line with what the US is doing, so it really depends what the US is doing. Probably going to continue to drop, and the Swiss franc will continue to drop their interest rates as well, so everything should rally against the Swiss franc unless it escalates in Russia, in which case the Swiss franc will rally because everyone will liquidate assets and put it into the Swissy. So at the moment, from a fundamental perspective, long against the Swiss. From a war perspective, you would short against the Swiss, but obviously we have got both of those potentially happening. Yens have covered. Euro bearish at the moment. So with the euro, Lagarde on top of everything, inflation at target, sustaining, interest rates coming down 0.5%, 0.25% increments, perfect. Interest rates are still too high, too restrictive, need to reduce them. If CPI remains stable, they will happen. It's just all down for the euro. Conflict, negative euro. Yeah, so there's just nothing positive. There's no reason for the euro to go bull at the moment. It's all bear. So if we get bad news for the euro, obviously, if they get bad numbers on anything, yeah, it's all going to collapse. If they get good numbers on stuff, you'll probably find a spike and then a retracement and then a continuation. Yeah, so only shorting it. Swaps are good for shorts on the euro. So yeah, all falling in line perfectly for me. So yeah, short on the euro odd at the moment. That was a ADR, I think. Yeah, that was an ADR reversal for here. So that was an ADR 125 reversal. Next day we pushed again, second entry taken. We pushed, didn't get third on there. My third entry target, as you can see, is here. Yeah, but I didn't quite get it on because we didn't get a signal at that point, at that level on the time frame I'm running on, which is hourly. So I could have taken a manual there, and I really should have done, but I didn't. If I had taken a manual, I'd probably be out of that now because my average would be actually my average would be somewhere around there. So it would be in profit, but there's a good chance this is going to come back down and retest these lows. So at the moment, we've got no news this week for the Aussie dollar, apart from that GDP number. So if we do get the result that they are forecasting, which is a 0.5 GDP for the Aussie will rally off the back of that number, which obviously means that euro odd will come down. So this is a really good hold at the moment. I don't see any problem with it. We've got no euro news this week. We've got Lagarde speaking on Wednesday, but unlikely to say anything. The Europeans, the ECB members are constantly saying stuff. So French PMI's just come out negative as well. Look. So again, more bad news for France. So yeah, you get constant news coming out from with the ECB members like Kazakhstan, and the inflation problem is going to end. In my view, interest rates must continue to be cut. Yeah, so we don't really have to rely on waiting for Lagarde to speak for it to be important, because we do get that constant feed out of the Eurozone as to what's happening. So yeah, so short on that one at the moment off of the ADR hit from last week. So that's just a pullback. Yeah, market structure, very nice. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So we're looking for a lower low to be put in. EuroCAD, same thing, short on that at the moment. I'm just looking for an ADR on this. So 110. So somewhere around there will be my target. Obviously, you know, it could well get down to there, but I'm not being greedy. I'm just taking an ADR movement out of the market at a time. So yeah, good looking short, obviously already in it. RSI extension was there. You had a bearish divergence, M pattern reversal, reversal alert, lower high, 71.9 pullback. Doesn't matter how you get in, but it's a short. So we've got these propulsion gaps up here, which I don't think are going to get tested. I think these are probably going to remain orphaned as we go down, but we'll wait and see. You never know. You could get some bullish news come out on the euro, or some massive Canadian weakness. Yeah, we could see the unemployment rate in Canada come out way lower than forecast, in which case obviously we'll have a big drop on the CAD, which means the euro CAD will fly, but we'll wait and see. Not taking any trades on this one at the moment. I will be looking for longs on it, but as you can see, it's just dead. So we've got this propulsion move here, which we had a small gap up on. They're rebuying this propulsion area over and over again. It's stuck. Yeah, Euro Swiss, obviously close trade partners from financial services perspective. So it is a very low ADR pair, 53. It's a little bit like the euro pound. It spends an awful lot of time in range. Unless there's news to take it out of that. But unlikely that we'll do much different. So not my favorite pair to trade at all. But yeah, ADR hits, RSI hits. But as you see, you're not getting an awful lot. You had one there, but you're not getting an awful lot of signals on it. I'm only looking to go long on that one. Euro pound, already got a short on. Oh, I'm out. So I'm out of euro pound. Out of the shorts. It's going to hit that weekly low. So there's potential for a long there. God, that took ages. 6 days. This euro pound is the pair that takes forever. The ADR on this is 40. So if you're looking for any type of movement on this thing, it just doesn't move. So yeah, this is probably the biggest move it's had, apart from news, since there. Look. Other than that, it just doesn't do anything. It grinds around. It's just rubbish. So long opportunity coming up for a monthly low, weekly low, double bottom bounce at ADR with an RSI extension on the hourly. It's probably extended on the 4 as well. Yeah, you extended on the 4. So long opportunity coming up. I'm not long in it though, because the swap costs are too much. But, you know, this thing just does that all the time. So buy the lows. Yeah, so there's a good opportunity for a long. If it doesn't bounce there, however, as you can see, this is a kind of almost an all-time lowish type scenario we've got in play at the moment. So you've got this little low here and this little low here from 2022. So that is 125 ADR. And about 250 ADR. So if you get in long here, you've got sort of, depending where you get in long, but you've got about 150 ADR of movement before you hit that very, very, very old low from 2022. Whether it bounces or not, I mean, usually you will get a bounce off of an old level like that. Whether it actually reverses or not is another matter. There's no reason for it to reverse. So, yeah, it could well collapse through that. But we'll wait and see. This seems to be a reaction to obviously all this French news that we've got. France has got a few problems at the minute. So, obviously we just had that negative PMI. So German PMI has just come out negative as well. So there we go. French and German PMIs both down. So again, just all negative news coming on that euro at the minute. So shorts. But obviously, you know, on its way down, it will bounce. So there are going to be bounces out of it. Tom, euro PMIs are out today. That's why I thought it wasn't going anywhere. Yeah, that's the ones we've just had. Euro New Zealand. So that's obviously coming down. I mean, all the euros are going to be coming down, but that's, you know, what they should be. Don't forget, inflation is very low and stable. So therefore, you would expect the PMI numbers to be low because obviously the Purchasing Managers Index feeds into the Consumer Price Index, which feeds into interest rates. So interest rates are coming down, inflation's coming down. We know it's all coming down, so it's not a shock when it comes down, is it? The market is doing exactly what it should be doing, which is selling into weakness. Weak numbers, because it means they will continue to drop interest rates. When they drop interest rates, it weakens the currency. So, yeah. But, you know, it's going to do things like that on its way. So you can still long the euro. It's not massively weak. You know, it's not going to be going parabolic. There's no reason it should go parabolic, but it's not going to be the easiest thing to long potentially. But you know, it only takes one news event. This is the beauty of trading Forex. One news event and you're back up here. Yeah, it will continue down there, but that one news event will take you back up there. The market moves in market structure. Market structure is your fib pullback ratios. Yeah, so every time you get a dump, you're going to get a 50% retracement. You're going to get a dump. You're going to get a 38 retracement. You're going to get a dump. That's a 100% pullback. But every dump you get a retracement. If it's dumping now, look for where it's going to retrace to. Yeah, so this is why we trade market structure. Yeah, because that is what the market is. It's made of market structure. So if you see a big move down, you have a mean reversion opportunity on the pullback, or you wait for the pullback and you take a continuation. One or the other, doesn't matter which. Just wait for the market to do what the market's going to do, but it will do one of those two things. So yeah, potential bounce off of the lows at the monthly at ADR today. So if we get an ADR hit, euro pound RSI extension, it's 9 o'clock. Hedged on the FTSE. So literally just got that hedge on the FTSE there. Long break on the DAX underway. So if I can get the long break on the DAX to cover the FTSE hedge, they'll cancel each other out today. Such a testing market. It's the only day we had on the DAX last week was that one there. We had a downward day there on the DAX, but you know, the rest of it's just all horrible hedgy market at the minute, rangy market. So euro pound is an RSI extension to the downside. I think that was already extended, wasn't it? Yeah, that was the one that we already had extended. So more extended now. Didn't quite get to that 20 level on the hourly. 4 hourly we have now triggered. Oh no, we haven't. Not quite. We will be triggering. So nice opportunity for longs on that one. Euro New Zealand. At the moment, Euro New Zealand, I'm looking for shorts. You can see I had my last shorts on here. This was a weird entry, this. So I got in here because this was a double ADR day. So we had ADR hit to the upside and downside. It's one of those days where we put in 225 ADR in either direction. So it took a short on the ADR move upwards, which, you know, it's just an anomaly in the price action, but it's a short opportunity there. If I hadn't have taken that one, I would have taken that ADR the following day anyway, short. So that trade would have already been on, but I had both of them. So that was the last entry. But as you can see, struggling to get any RSI extensions to the upside at the moment here. Very difficult to get short on this because it's just not pulling back very much. On the hourly, you had a couple of 70 extensions there, that one. And if you'd have got in on that one there, you'd have been scaled into that. You had one there. But yeah, it's just hard to get in at the moment because this market is so weak on the euro at the minute. But there is a long opportunity now on it if you want to take a long bounce. So, but if you get any longs you take on euros, just be kind of scalpy with them. Yeah, try and get out quick, or protect them with a break even. I mean, obviously, any stop loss you use is likely to get hit. So, if you put a break even stop, you're likely to get delivered a break even. But small targets, quarter of an ADR, third of an ADR on longs, shorts, whatever you want to take, really. But yeah, nothing much on that at the moment. You've got a potential long opportunity forming on the hourly. 4 hourly starting to get there, but I mean, ideally, I would be looking for a trade out of ADR today if I was going to long it, but I'm not. Euro US got short on that at the moment. 2 entries on it from last week. So second entry was on Friday. First entry was on Tuesday. So again, that was an ADR 125. So that move there was 125 ADR, almost exactly. So got in on the reversal on the 125 ADR. We had a second up day put in. Second entry was taken on Friday. And obviously retest on that reversal. So that's playing out nicely. Looking for a push back down into either of those. 3-bar reversal potentially going in on that one at the minute. But yeah, shorts, obviously, because you can see it's short. Yeah, I mean, it's of all the shorts, you know, if the euro is going to be weak at the moment, we've got a very strong US dollar, haven't we? So yeah, this is kind of the perfect storm. There is a chance of a big pullback on this up to here, in which case then obviously I'd need to scale in. See, next entry for me would be all the way up back up there. So I'll probably be in 4 by the time we get up into here. It's going to need some weak US news. So it's all about this week really as to whether we get strength or weakness in the US. And obviously I'll be watching the P&L as we approach news, and anything that I can bank, I'll bank. But at the moment, looking for short opportunities. The pound at the minute is very, very difficult to call. So but I'm always interested in when we've got Bailey speaking, because we're waiting for the Bank of England to give us more information as to what they're going to do with interest rates. The budget has really screwed the potential weakness in that pound, because we were kind of anticipating Bailey coming out to drop interest rates on a more regular basis. Then we got the new budget, which immediately weakened the pound. So the problem we have now is we don't know whether we're going to get strength in that pound at all. The budget is going to weaken the economy. If Bailey decides to drop interest rates as well, it's going to double weaken the economy, or double weaken the pound. So very hard to call direction on the pound at the minute. For me, I'm looking for long opportunities on most of the pounds. So I had one in there. Didn't get in that for some reason. Why didn't I not get in that? Not quite sure why I didn't get in that, but I didn't. That would have been a very nice one. But yeah, so looking for long opportunities on this one at the moment. It's very difficult to call a direction. So you could have a bearish stance on this, but equally, because Bailey's not dropping those interest rates or saying anything about it, we're basically struggling to get any direction on it at all, really. So it's range bound, although it's slightly bearish at the moment. Franco, I understand sleep, excessive brain electrical activity. Get some rest. Thank you for the $5, Franco. That's very kind of you. Yes, I have a brain fart at the moment, as we call it in the UK. Thank you very much for the $5. That's very much appreciated. I have to go out for a meal this week, so I shall be spending that on a beer. I say I have to go out for a meal. It's nice to go out for a meal. But yeah, thank you very much for that. But yeah, brain activity. I just foggy brain today. Just one of those nights where I just couldn't sleep, which isn't good for trading, which is why I like automated trading, because when you're automated trading, you just don't have to think. Just let it go. Let it do its thing. Yeah, I didn't bank anything this morning. The EA banked it for me. I don't have to do anything. It just does it. Which means if you don't have sleep, you can just get on with your day and let the EAs do their thing, which is lovely. So thank you for that. Shorts, I would say, looking at the price action, obviously, and the market structure at the moment. With this propulsion gap seems to be holding very well last week. So it's a case of looking at this week, really, and seeing if that propulsion gap holds. So that's the last batch of sellers. This is the first retest. We resold it. We tried twice to get through, or 3 times to get through on Friday. Couldn't. We closed up at the highs. This morning it's rejected multiple times. If it breaks that, we're testing here. So 125 ADR. So that would be the short trigger. However, I'm only looking for longs. It costs $13 to trade this with short swaps. So it's not something I really want to be shorting, which is why I'm surprised I didn't get that on. But anyway, I didn't. But anyway, yeah, so looking good for shorts from here. If not, that would be your preferred shorting area up there. Other than that, this could go absolutely anywhere, really. And news-wise this week, we haven't really got anything but Australian dollar GDP. So the pound is very light on news this week. We've got Bailey speaking, and that's it. So it's all about the US dollar. And neither of these really are trailing or mimicking US dollar movement. So this can do what it likes this week. Quite possibly very much of the same. Yeah, so we may well have one of those sort of weeks put in on this one. There's no news. Pound CAD, looking for longs again on this one. So waiting for the market at the moment. I did get in on that pound, actually. Sorry. I've just realised I've just set my terminal to this month only history, which is why it's not showing the previous trades. I'll have to adjust that in a bit. Yeah, I did get on that one, and I got on that one as well. So yeah, looking for long opportunities. So for me, I'll be looking for a push down this week to try and get into a long. You've got short opportunity you had last week from there. Nice bearish divergence went in, but it is still pushing. So at the minute, I'll be watching this propulsion gap. So you've got a beautiful area here of buying that we slammed straight through. Yeah, so they tested it again, rebought it, and then it collapsed. So this is your propulsion gap where the sellers took control of the market. Everybody that was long in those zones flipped short, helped the market to the downside. So this is our first kind of retest on Friday of that level, and it gapped down from it. So it's held. So any kind of price action up here would be good to take as a short. If we do break through that level, obviously we're coming back up into this area of balance, so could well sit around up there. But yeah, could go either way. But signals at the moment, you'd be short already on this. That'd be your target down in propulsion. At the moment, it looks like we're going to test this one. So it's either going to come down and do that, or it's going to go up into there and come down to there at some point. But obviously, Canadian dollar, we've got unemployment on Friday. We've got constant US dollar news all week, and the CAD will move a lot with the US. So if the US has a really good week for news or a really bad week for news, expect the Canadian dollar to mimic that and do the same thing. So again, CAD will be driven this week by news in one of the directions, but no idea which. So wait for a move and then try and get in on the reversal of it. Pound Swiss, I mean, it's just range bound. So at the moment, bang in the middle of the range, worst possible place to take a trade from. Yeah, so getting up there or getting down there. For me, at the moment, I'm long only. So I'm taking longs out of these lows. Wouldn't be looking to short it. You will get a short signal if this continues to rally today. That's not a bad area of support resistance. If I was using the support resistance zone EA, that is where I'd be placing those blocks. it's gonna go far too fast, isn't it? But so, you know, when you're drawing out support resistance areas, you're looking for areas that are decent, zones that have been used over and over again. Yeah, so that area there is a constant area of buying and selling price action. Yeah, so constantly using it for price action, buying out of it, buying out of it, selling out of it, selling out of it, selling out of it, propulsion. Yeah, so that would be a short area today. If we were to get up there, 125 ADR, no news to take us there, but that would be where I'd be looking for shorts. For me, ideally, I'll be looking to retest that propulsion and go long. So I'm looking for an ADR or an RSI extension down in this area. For long opportunities, not looking to short it just because it's too expensive. 18.90 swaps for shorts, so it costs too much to hold it. However, if you do get in up here, and we do get a push up to here either today or tomorrow, you're going to get an RSI extension. If you look at the distance you've got to go, it's really an ADR. So you're probably only going to get 3 trades on that maximum, more likely 2, and it probably wouldn't take more than a couple of days to get there before you're going to get that price action short. And if you do get a continued move up into this area, that whole move there is your extension, which they'll want to pull back on. And if they don't pull back straight away and you get out on that profit, by the time it gets up to there, you've got that entire leg, which they will want to do that with. Yeah, so big, strong move, and then they'll bang, want to do the retracement on it. So it's not a bad looking short, as long as it plays out quick. But there's no news catalysts for either of those this week. So pound New Zealand, very, very, very grindy. I'm not looking for any trades actually on this because the swaps are too high. Long and short is over $8. It's a beautiful pair. It's really annoying that it costs so much to trade it. Most of the time, this is a beautiful market structured pair. It's one of the most volatile instruments we've got in Forex. It's got the highest ADR most of the time of all FX instruments. If you look at ADRs and general ADR numbers, US dollar yen's up at 155. Then you've got the pound New Zealand dollar at 133, pound yen at 189, euro yen. So the yens are obviously very volatile at the moment, but it's usually the second highest ADR or the highest ADR instrument we have, the pound New Zealand, because you've got a strong commodity exporter in New Zealand that runs in the Asian session, and then you've got this second strongest currency for the Eurozone trading session, obviously against it. So you get a lot of push and pull constantly on this. Spreads are usually incredibly high, but unfortunately swaps are too. So it's a great instrument to trade when it's playing ball, as it is at the moment. But you do tend to get these parabolic legs put in, which is where we get strong pound news with weak New Zealand news at the same time, and you get huge extensions like that. So that obviously is, you know, a good week's worth of price action. You'll always get out on it, but if you have to hold it for a week or two, it starts to cost a lot of money, and it becomes difficult to make decent money on it. So at the moment, though, as you can see, market structure is bearish. Everything is bearish at the moment against the pound. So yeah, ADRs to the upside, RSIs to the upside. But as you can see, there's no signals at the minute because it's just not going anywhere. In fact, this week, this last couple of weeks on the hourly time frame, you haven't had 180 extension. The last 80 RSI extension was back here, which was in August. So since August, we've had a 70 extension a couple of times, but big strong moves, none. It's just rhythmic. So this is kind of the instrument you want to retune your RSI on a little bit and not use a 21, maybe use a 14, just to, in fact, not a 14. You want to use, yeah, probably. See, a 14 doesn't even give you many signals either. It's just difficult to trade at the minute. But yeah, not really doing anything. So any ADR hits on it, you're probably okay. If you get an ADR hit, it's probably going to mean revert half of it. So worth a go. Tom, what are your thoughts on going long on one prop firm and short on another for a phase one evaluation? As Franco's just said, it's gambling, not trading. So what do you do when you pass the evaluation? Yeah, it's not long-term sustainable. And also, it's not guaranteed to work. So if you press the long button here and the short button, what could happen is one of your accounts will hit the maximum drawdown. Yeah. Don't forget on prop. So you've got on most of them, it's a 5% max DD and an 8% target. What's to stop the market going up 5%, blowing that, coming down 5%, blowing that, coming back to the middle? You make nothing. You've just lost two evaluations because the market went up and down, as the market does all the time. But yeah, it's not sustainable. It's just gambling, and it's I mean, it's against their terms and conditions. So if you get caught, you'll just get your account chucked anyway. So, and there's a video that went out last week, which somebody posted, which was an interview with Justin, what's his name? Justin Hertzman. No, he's a baseball player. What's his name? Try and find it. Oh, Hertzberg, isn't it? Hertzberg. There he is. Yeah, this guy runs a company called FPFX Tech. This company here. They run multiple brokerages, 8cap being one of them. When you go and trade with most of these crappy prop firms out there, they all have a broker called 8cap. They all trade on 8cap. Yeah. He knows every person trading on every prop. He runs around about 170 prop firms, or he runs the technology behind 170 prop firms. You don't think they share that information? Yeah. If Tom Anderson goes and signs up on ABC prop and XYZ prop and goes long and short on one of them, they know about it. It's all rigged. The whole thing is there you go, prop trading software is a complete, it's not a complete scam. It's the wrong word for it. It's just selling you. What they've managed to do very cleverly is devise a way to sell you demo accounts, which have always been given to you for free, on the promise that you can become a profitable trader. If you can't become a profitable trader with your own currency, what on earth makes you think you can become a profitable trader with a demo account of some other firm? It's a very clever brainwashing, mind manipulation technique they've got going on, but no one's making any money out of it long term. I've made really good money out of prop, and I've been honest with it. I've shown people, I've done it here in the live rooms, but not consistently. I can't keep the accounts because there isn't a trading strategy on the planet that doesn't draw down by the limits they set in prop. You will always blow the account. And it says in this video, I'll find the video. Here we go. I'll put it in here. Watch the whole thing. It's worth a watch at some point. But watch the whole thing. Yeah, he basically tells you how the whole industry works. And he tells you the statistics. No one holds accounts. Yeah, nobody makes long-term consistent money in prop. There are always ways to gamble. And it's a good way of gambling. But you've got to pick two prop firms that don't talk to each other. And when you've got 90% of the prop firms operating on one software platform, they know about it. Yeah. So, and he even says in there, you know, there are prop firms out there that fund you. Yeah. I mean, Top Step do fund you with accounts, with live money. They are one of the few out there that do actually fund you with real funds, but they will fund like 0.01% of people. because they can identify the patterns of a consistently profitable trader. And he says in that video, a consistently profitable trader, one of the questions is, what are the traits that you see in people that make it in prop? And the people that make it in prop are the people that are not scalping. They're the people that are swing trading, position trading. Yeah. So the prop firms that you can get this type of price action going and this type of trading activity on without hitting their limits, these are the people that are making the money. Because the people that make money in prop are the people that are drawing 3 to 5% a month out, not the people that are taking 70 grand payouts. I can also walk into Las Vegas, put $1 in a machine, and it give me 100 grand. Yeah. But the guy that got that 70 grand payout, he's never going to repeat that ever. It's like winning the lottery. Someone's got to win the lottery. Yeah. When you go into this perfect example, right? I start an evaluation today and I go, I'm going to open up 6E, which is the pound futures. And I'm going to short 6E this morning. Holy crap. Close it. Oh, how much was that? 74 grand. I'll take that. First day of my funded account. Do you think that guy's ever going to get that again? That's a lucky button press. That's what the big payouts you see in all these prop firms are. Lucky button presses. We can all get a lucky button press. I've had lucky button presses. My biggest payout in prop was over 10 grand. Wasn't any skill involved. I got a news event. It was brilliant. But it's not something you can do every day. But it's a good idea, yeah? And you've just got to pick different prop firms, I think. So if you went with Top Step, for example, the best way to do this, I think, actually, Tom, just going down this route a little bit further, is exactly what I just said. Go and short the pound on the futures market and go and buy the pound US dollar in FX. So trade with Top Step futures short and trade with an 8-cap prop firm long on pound US, because these two guaranteed aren't talking to each other. Different technologies, different platforms, completely different companies. They're never going to know. They're not going to talk to each other. They're never going to know you exist in both. That's the way to do it. Play one futures against an FX, because you can trade FX on prop. Basically, all the FX, all the futures currency trading. So you got 6E and 6, whatever the other letters are. I can never remember what they are in futures, but all the futures pound, for example, is actually pound US dollar. And when you're trading the euro futures, you're trading euro US dollar. So they're all the US dollar crosses, basically. So that would be the way to do it, because you can guarantee you've got anonymity, if you like, between the firms. But yeah, try it. See how you get on. But the danger is, and I've done this before, exactly what you're saying. The danger is, which you don't think about, is you will get stopped out on both of those accounts without hitting the target, because you've got to get the 8% target, but the 5% drawdown. So there's every possibility the market move up and down 5% for 3 days, and you'll never get to 8%. So all you do is you just blow both. So what you'd have to do is go long one, short one. When the one that blows, you have to close the other one out at 5% profit. Then the next day, you have to repeat the process. So you have to go for 3% profit the second day on the account you got the 5% profit on. So you've got to have a 50-50 shot workout on day 2, which is not a problem, is it? 50-50, go and flip a coin 10 times, see how many times you get heads in a row. You will. But try and flip a coin and get consistent calling it, you won't. That's the problem. I'm behind with 50 minutes watching the live. Are you? Hello in the past, tra-la-la. What the hell was I talking about 50 minutes ago? Right, finish off the pound. Pound US dollar, I'm shorts on at the moment. From the, this was an ADR and an RSI. So this is an RSI short. Second entry taken on Friday. Nice 3-bar reversal there. We have held that high, so high of the week's holding. Little gap down, so just looking for a little push back down on this one. Pound, again, not weak, not strong, nice pullback. So at the moment we're not quite 50% on on the leg. Oh, yes, we are. We're exactly 50% on the leg. So there is a possibility we can pull back a little bit further. So my next short's going on here. That is the area of resistance I'd be looking at. So next short there. So I'll be 3 short, looking for a continuation down. No reason I don't think why the US dollar should be dramatically weaker than the pound, and the fact that the pound can rally back up into these highs. However, you know, we could have just nothing but non-stop negative news on the US dollar this week. We don't know. So wait and see. But yeah, I'm shorts on this. It's too expensive. It's only just too expensive to trade long. And there was a nice long extension there, look, which played out beautifully. But I'd be very worried about longing the US, shorting against the US at the moment, because of what's going on with Trump. I think there's going to be a good chance that he's going to be very positive for the US. All that he's talking about with these trade negotiations and everything, I fully believe some of it he is going to do. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. If he does do the trade thing, though, it's likely that we're going to get some weakness coming into the US at some point, but we're talking kind of January. So at the moment, I think the market is assuming he's going to be good for the economy as he was previously. However, we'll have to wait and see. So right now, the market is playing the interest rate differentials. Shouldn't be any reason why we shouldn't continue to do that medium term. So everything I think is a good short at the moment against the US dollar, but only short term. Tra-la-la, the permutation test of Phil's lazy trader strategy looks like ADR reversal strategy and stop loss. Nope, no stop losses in it at all. It doesn't use stop losses. It uses position trading. It's a position trading strategy, and it's nothing to do with ADR. So totally wrong. Go and watch the member stream if you're interested in it. If it's a strategy that plays out, I will release it as an EA and go into the strategy in more detail. But the members are trading it at the moment, or testing it at the moment, and it's looking really good. But yeah, it's nothing to do with that. The whole what I've been doing a lot of in the member streams is looking for different strategies, either stop loss based, which we're finding it very difficult to find profitable strategies for obvious reasons, because they use stop losses, which makes you stop profit. But I'm looking for diversification in position trading strategies, and I'm looking for diversification in other types of strategies, like always in strategies and non-indicator based strategies. So still going to be position trading virtually everything, using drawdown control rather than stops, because obviously that works. But I'm looking for diversification of entry. So there's 2 strategies we've tested which came out very positively with back testing and permutation testing, and those are both live forward testing. And I've obviously got the new strategy or the new EA that I've been developing last week, which is basically support resistance. So it's a non-indicator version of position trading, which I'm probably going to start to introduce as well, just to get diversification in there, because I've been relying too much on the same strategy. And this last year has taught me that it's the first proper curveball I've been thrown this last year, with squeezes over and over and over again, and diversification reduces those squeezes down. I'm still profitable for the year by a decent amount. However, it's nowhere near before. And if I had diversification in there, the losing months would have been much smaller. Blasphemous. Non-indicator trading. It is an indicator, though, really, isn't it? It's price. Price is the ultimate indicator, isn't it? Because price is the leading indicator, and I am using price as my indicator. So, you know, it's one of those things where you just go, you know, this is where they bought it from last time. They keep buying it from here, so we'll just wait and wait for them to get down there. then we'll buy it. And then it'll bounce. And it won't bounce. If it doesn't bounce, we'll buy it again. And we'll find somewhere else that they bought it from. And we'll do that. And it's exactly the same as using an indicator. But we're using this thing called price that we see doing that all day long. That's all we're doing. Very simple. Anyway, I'm awful over the place today. That's true. The prop math is against you. Rules are fluid, not cool. I trade small positions and very aware of DD limits. Can be very draining enterprise. Yeah. There's nothing wrong. You know, don't get me wrong. I made really good money out of prop. I went through a stage in 2023 where, if you're going back and look at the live streams, I was doing a lot of prop trading, and I was promoting prop firms, not for in a paid way, but I was telling people how to trade prop, but always with you ain't gonna last long. And I've been beaten down basically by the industry and the fact that I just see the same thing happening over and over again. And it's exactly the same as happened with binary options. It's a fad, and the industry needs these fads to make money out of people. And this is a really, really good one. And I don't want to call it a scam, because I don't think it is a scam, but people have been brainwashed into prop, because the hurdle, if you think about it as a trader, your hurdle is capital. And this is why in the bootcamp, I say you need to trade 0.01 per $1,000 in your account. And hopefully the penny drops with people there. It's like, holy crap, if I want to make $5,000 a month, I need a 50K account. Yes, you do. Prop come along and go, have a 50K account for $299. No, it's not. It's a 5K account. They just put an extra couple of zeros on the end of it. Yeah, you're not trading a 50K account. You're trading a 5K account. Why? Because they give you 10% drawdown on the account. So when you've drawn down by $5,000, they take it away from you. So what have you got? A $5,000 account. It's a total brainwash. Nobody gets it. Well, people do get it. That's wrong. That's not true. People do get it, but for some reason they can't stop doing it. I think it's just become an addiction. Yeah, it's become the next form of gambling. Hey, I can get $100,000 out of this finance company. I've just got to give them $500 and pass a test. I could flip a coin and pass the test. I've already done it. Really? How much was it? $500? I'll have a go at that. 25 million a month in prop fees into these prop firm accounts. 25 million, and they pay out less than 10. They're making 15 million a month from people gambling. Sound familiar? Casinos, horse racing, football. Basically, it's the same thing. You can't consistently make a living out of it. There are professional gamblers, but they're not many of them, is there? There's professional poker players as well. Go see the World Series of Poker. Yeah, there's a handful of people that have won that more than once. So even the best in the world can't reproduce what they did once. It's luck. Yeah, if you get double aces, you get pocket aces 5 times in a row at the final table of the World Series of Poker, you've won. Blasphemous. There is where is the link on your web page that used to take us to all the technical info? I don't know what you mean, Wayne. Technical info. My website hasn't changed. What do you mean by technical info? Do you mean the fundamentals? I've taken that site down. I don't use it anymore. If you mean the fundamentals, where it gave you the no, it's just taking it down. It's costing me a lot of money to keep that going. I've got live data feeds running, scraping systems, load of scripting, hosting. It's just not using it. So I've taken it down. Just keep track of it myself. Right, pound US dollar. So yeah, at the moment I'm short and waiting for it. New Zealand US dollar, we're getting to that one, Danny. New Zealand dollar CAD, at the moment, gap down play at the moment. It's just been filled this morning. So you've got a reversal alert there and potential retest short. At the moment, I'm looking for longs on this at the minute. So there was an entry back I'm sure I had an entry on that. Yeah, I got out there, didn't I? It was a multi-day hold. I think it was in from here and out on that. So yeah, looking for a pushback down into propulsion. ADR hit, RSI extension to the downside. Looking for a basically pullback long. Obviously, news on the CAD this week. So we'll see what happens with the Canadian dollar. But at the minute, you know, just usual. Wait for an RSI extension. Wait for an ADR hit. It's moving very, very nicely up and down. It's not parabolic in any way, shape, or form. So just waiting for an entry, really, on this one. There's no real bias on it. New Zealand and the Canadian dollar both dropping interest rates. This is obviously going to fall more in line with the US dollar. But yeah, just waiting for an entry on it. So not in that at the moment. I'm looking for longs, so I'm looking for a retest of propulsion down here. So this New Zealand dollar news we had here. So the New Zealand dollar interest rate dropped. And of course, because they dropped the interest rate, the New Zealand dollar rallied. For some reason, the New Zealand dollar is just not falling in line with fundamentals. It seems to have this weird life of its own at the moment. It doesn't matter what the news is, it just does whatever it wants and it flies for no reason. So fundamentally, that is the directional bias. That is what we got off the back of the negative news for the New Zealand dollar. So I suspect we will come back down and test all of this. We may even come out the lows. All depends on what happens with the US and the CAD this week. New Zealand Swiss, absolute mess like all the other Swiss pairs. We've been very, very sideways for the last month. This is the monthly low and the monthly high. We really haven't gone anywhere in the last month. Market is still in shock from the yen intervention and the Swiss franc moved with the yen. There's no bias on the Swiss really apart from bearish because they're dropping interest rates. Inflation is still dropping. They will need to continuously drop those interest rates. I don't know why I'm pointing down because it means that that will be happening. So as the Swiss is weakening, obviously New Zealand dollar will strengthen against the Swiss. So that's the fundamental bias on this one, unless the war kicks off further in Europe and we get involved in NATO with the Russian conflict, in which case the Swiss franc will rally like crazy and we'll be back out those lows. So yeah, waiting for a signal on that one. I would only really be looking for long opportunities on it. So that propulsion gap down there is where I'd be looking for longs this week. Any RSI extension to the downside, potentially an ADR hit to the downside as well. ADR 125 is what I'm trading, which means if we were to get there today, it would need a hell of a move. So unlikely to get into that in the moment, and it seems to be going long without me, unfortunately. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So out of my longs on that one from previous, again, at the moment, all down to the US. The US at the moment is very, very strong. The New Zealand dollar got all this strength off of the interest rate drops last week. We have just hit the double top. And it seems to be holding. This propulsion move here seems to be holding at the moment. So market structure is high, low, lower, high, lower, low, double top, double bottom, reversal. So looks good for shorts. Have one on at the moment from last week, which was an ADR reversal. That was a 125 ADR short. Did nothing, rallied on Friday. So break even at the moment on this one. But looking for it to continue down. So I'm looking for US dollar strength to continue this week. Doesn't really matter which way I trade this one. Swaps are good on it. So I find it very difficult to think that the market's going to get anywhere back up into this area. Now we've got the election has driven the US that way. I get the feeling we're going to continue to drive the US. So I'm much more interested in shorts against the US dollar than I am longs. But equally, obviously, as you can see, it's not that strong. So there's still a lot of confusion from the market as to what Trump is going to do, and quite rightly so, because he's, as always, bark, 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 but can't do any biting at the minute because he's not in yet. So there's a lot of speculation as to what's going to happen, like the BRICS thing we've just had. Yeah, with the BRICS, if you decide to do any of your transactions in BRICS, we're basically going to put 100% tariffs on you. So kiss goodbye to trading with the US. You know, stuff like that is going to be said, which they're not going to like the US dollar, are they? Because if he's basically saying you can kiss goodbye trading with the US, that's not good for the US, is it? The reason you do trade is to make money. If you turn off the trade, i.e., let's say, for example, you run a business selling cars, and every customer that comes in, you call them an idiot, they're going to walk out the door. Yeah. If every customer that comes to the US says, hi, I'd like to do all of this trade with you. By the way, I'm doing a little bit of currency over here with Brazil as well. No, 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 no. Screw you. It's double the price. You're not going to trade with them. Yeah, so stuff like that isn't going to help the US dollar. So this thing, I think, has got potential to go absolutely anywhere at any time at the moment. So it's all going to be driven by the Trump effect, which is what we had for 4 years last time. Nuts. So in effect, you could get in any way you like. I would rather just get in line with swap at the moment. So most of the US dollar swaps are shorts against the US, so strong US. So I'm pretty much the same with the New Zealand US. The rates on the New Zealand dollar are coming down very quick as well, which isn't going to be, or shouldn't be strong. It has been recently, but shouldn't be strong for the New Zealand dollar. So, but yeah, it's a very weird multi-speed drop we had into the election. So, I mean, there is an argument for saying that this will get up there, but you've got to have a massively weak US to do that, and I just don't think it can get there. So I think probably this is all going to become orphaned propulsion gap zone. Potentially we could make it to last month's high. I think it'll probably struggle. This is where we broke out in the election, so I suspect this is going to come on your upside resistance, or maybe into the area. Don't know, but I'd be much more interested in that than the other. US dollar CAD, same, it's in reverse. Yeah, New Zealand and Canadian, both commodity pair. So yeah, it's a reverse for this one. We're looking for longs on it. But nice pullback. And then obviously we had that massive CAD faux pas. And you know, that's the exact thing I've just been talking about. We're going to stick 20% tariff on imports from Canadian dollar. Holy crap, the Canadian's going to die. Then the analysts look at it and go, but Canada doesn't export anything to the US. Oh, all right. Yeah, knee-jerk reactions. That's what he does. He causes knee-jerk reactions, and 90% of the time, they undo themselves within a week. You go back and watch that stream from last Monday and watch what I said would happen by the end of the week. It's like I've got a DeLorean. Yeah, it's just what happens. It's just unfortunate when he's in charge. And he's not even in charge yet. But yeah, this could go either way. Don't forget, both of these are driven by oil price as well. So if there's a conflict escalating in Europe, oil price is going to go through the roof, which makes both of these really strong. So yeah, difficult to call. US dollar Swiss, this one, yeah, long only. Swiss franc interest rates dropping, inflation dropping, all dropping for the Swiss. We've got a really strong Trump and US dollar at the moment. No reason why this one shouldn't continue to do that. So it's whether or not we get bad news. If we get bad news for a week, obviously the US dollar will come down. Doesn't matter, but it will only come down before it bounces, I think. So long only on this, looking for entries to the downside. So 125 ADRs to the downside for me. If I was using support resistance, I'd be drawing it on there. Yeah, or there. Yeah. So looking for that kind of movement. But yeah, at the moment, nothing. It's just sitting around. There we go. That's everything covered. I did an experiment showing ChatGPT a chart and then tell it methodology. ICT, SMC, position swing, amazing results. Really? Amazing results at what? Trading? I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen with AI and trading. There's a lot of people, again, trying to pull the wool over your eyes, saying they've got AI driven EAs, if you know how EA infrastructure works and how coding works within MetaTrader 4 and MetaTrader 5, you know you can't code EA into it. So anything that you see on the marketplace that uses the words AI, run. It's the same as we had neural networks, run. It's all a load of crap. But, you know, people will buy stuff because it's got a new quotation mark around it. But at the end of the day, it's going to go up and down. And AI has got just as much chance of predicting the future as we have. Yeah. The breakdown was instructional. Yeah. I don't quite know what that means, Franco. But oh, you mean it knows what ICT, smart money concepts and all that sort of stuff is? Yeah. It's great. You know, I have a lot. I use AI a lot. I use it a lot. I use it for answering questions. I chat to it every now and again. I've called mine Jarvis because you have to. And I use it for coding a lot. So within coding, there's stuff that you just think, oh, I hate coding shit like that. AI, could you do it for me? And he goes, anything. Thank you very much. It's great for stuff like that, but it gets stuff wrong all the time. There's no way I'm putting it in charge of 100 grand of my money. No. I don't care how good it is. It's AI. Yeah. We had a massive crash in the stock markets because at one point in the, God, when was that? 90s? We put algorithms in charge of running institutional money order flow in the stock markets at the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. One of the algorithms went nuts because of a coding error, and the entire stock market collapsed and got frozen for days. Yeah, because one bank put one algo in there that should have done one thing and did something else, and it just sold, and it didn't stop selling, and then it bought everything it could find and it sold it again immediately at a loss, and it just hemorrhaged. That's the sort of stuff that if you put anything automated in charge of can happen. Yeah. And EAs are a good example of that. Yeah. I'm absolutely meticulous with every single EA I build. It is back tested to death. It is code checked to death. I live forward test it for weeks on multiple platforms, and I break it as much as I possibly can before I ever release anything, because I'm not going to put, and you'll never find me releasing any product that is not sitting on my charts. Yeah. I'm using it myself. There's no way I'm taking chances with it because it's money. Yeah. AI doesn't give a monkeys about it. Yeah. So anything that's coded by AI and is not verified by a human being, you just got to be so careful. I've seen AI code stuff for me and looked at it and gone, why on earth are you doing it like that? That's the most complicated, convoluted way of doing it. There's a much faster way. And then you look at the manual for MetaTrader 4 or MQL5 language, and it's like, oh, I can see why he's doing that, because he's doing it by the book. No one does it by the book. Yeah. So it's a garbage in, garbage out. Something I was taught at school when I was doing computer science. Garbage in, garbage out. If you put crap into your programming, you will get crap out. Yeah. So just be careful with anything to do with trading and AI. It's fun, but treat it like that. Yeah. I've asked AI to do a back test. I got AI, I wrote a script that, well, this was, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, maybe. I wrote a script for a video that I was going to be doing, which basically was to identify a daily pattern. So I basically got a 15-minute chart, and I wrote a script to tell AI to go and get a daily pattern and go back as far as you could and find me that exact pattern, because I wanted to prove that every single day's price action is unique, which means that anybody trading the 5-minute time frame has got no hope in hell of making money if they're using pattern recognition in their trading. Any kind of technical analysis or distance-based analysis or price action-based analysis on the 5-minute chart will never work, because this has never happened before and will never happen again. Yeah. So I wrote a script and an algorithm to identify a day at random and got AI to go and find me the exact pattern in history on any instrument in FX. Couldn't do it. Reason? It's never happened. Yeah. The way that these candlesticks unfolded like this on this day has never happened before. And it will never happen again. So everything you do in your back testing, you have to understand you're never going to get the result in your back test because it's never going to happen again. Which is why system parameter permutation is critical, because if you don't do SPP testing and out of sample testing, your testing is useless because you're just curve fitting it to the data that you're seeing on your chart. When you got to the hourly time frames, again, this exact pattern has never ever been formed before by price action on any instrument. And you can verify this. You can do it visually yourself. You know, go and look through. You won't find the same thing 2 days in a row. You may find the same thing like that, but not exactly the same. And that's, you know, it's these minute intricacies. A 2-bar pullback instead of a 1-bar pullback is the difference between making and not making money. This is where your discretion has to come in as a trader, which is why you can't put AI or EAs fully in charge of your trading, because you have to be involved in it in some way, shape or form. These ones that we've got running on forward test are 100% automated. Yeah. Not touching them at all. But I'm pretty sure at some point they're going to get into some big trouble, and I would want to intervene with it. You've got to keep an eye on everything, haven't you? That's the thing. You've just got to keep an eye on everything you do in trading, because you are the trader. The flash crash, yeah. But it's all algorithmic, you know, and it's some bloke, some poor coder somewhere in whatever bank it was that caused that, lost his job. Quite rightly so, because he crashed the market. But, you know. Anybody got anything else they want to cover today? Anything else they want to look at? I think we've covered pretty much everything today. This is painful. So FTSE's literally just not gone anywhere. And the DAX is, look at these wicks. The DAX is struggling to get anywhere as well. So high of last month on Friday's high, which is here, is my upside target, which is $200. So that's $400 upside. What's the gap fill? 130. So that's 260 on the gap fill. And the hedge is 260. So what I might do, I'm going to monitor this morning. We've got the gap fill coming up here. So it could play out the gap. It could also double top out of Friday's high. There's not exactly a lot of volume here, is there? So I'm going to put my TP there, which is going to clear me profit for the morning, which is £400. The hedge cost is 250, so that clears me 150. So that's my target on the DAX. So that will give me profit for the morning. But I don't hold up much hope of getting anything out of this today. Upside and downside targets on the FTSE. I mean, that's your 5-hour target. You've got to get out beyond last. I mean, that isn't even a high, is it? That's just some weird candle. So it's just not really anything you can do with it today. It's a mess. Downside target's got to be low of the week. So if for any reason the FTSE crashes today, I'm going to buy the low of the week. If for any reason it pops today, I'm going to sell the high of the week. And that will hopefully get a bounce out enough to exit the hedge. Other than that, it's a locked in loss today on that one. Mess. Absolute mess. Right, that's all I've got for you today. So tomorrow in the members stream, we're going to cover more support resistance stuff. I've made some enhancements to this EA. So you see it changes color and stuff. There's a few bits and pieces I've done to the EA. There you go. Look, it's made 30 grand. It hasn't made 30. It's made 20. No, sorry. This is a 20k account. When did I start this? Yes, 20k. So it's made 10 grand in where are we? September 20. We're in pretty much in September 23. So in 3 months, 3 years even, it's made just over 10 grand. So, you know, 3 grand a year, one instrument. This is trading absolutely no risk as well. This is trading like, I think it's trading yeah, I mean, it's 0.3s. I mean, it's nothing on a 20 grand account. It's trading probably 0.25% over an ADR or something. But look at the way it makes money. Look, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, long, short, loss. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? And you get these bumps or road bumps. Sleeping policemen, we call them in the UK. The ones where you go over at more than 30 miles an hour, you break your suspension. Yeah, you get those. This is normal in position trading. This is drawdown. Yeah, so what I haven't done into this particular EA is built any drawdown control. So this is just working without drawdown control. Obviously, it's going to have problems at points. So, you know, in this 3-year period, you've had 3 road bumps. So think of these as squeezes, yeah? So you've had 3 squeezes in 3 years, 1 a year, about right. Yeah, but no drawdown control. So if it did drawdown control, we'd obviously had a little bit of a dip in the P&L. But, yeah, haven't done any additional coding on this yet, which is what I'm going to do this afternoon. So we're going to cover that tomorrow in the members stream, but a lot of members have said they want this because at the moment it's for strategy testing and training. I built it for training, to train support resistance, so you can basically trade support resistance yourself, and you know, teach yourself how this thing moves up and down in the strategy tester. So get hours in, get retinas burnt. Thank you, Franco, very much. Thank you. Another $2. That's $7 in the morning, Franco. You are the lead contributor this morning. Thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Thank you very much. Didn't see that. Came up in blue for some reason instead of green. I don't know why. So we'll be covering this tomorrow. But members have said they want it. So I'll need to get it fine-tuned, if you like, to release it. But it's something I think I'm going to use myself as well, because it is the way that I used to trade. So I'm just moving squares around at random, which is obviously making it make losses, which it wouldn't have normally made. But so yeah, I'll work on this afternoon more and try and get these. I need some drawdown control introduced into it, basically. But I also need to do some robustness testing. So we'll look at some robustness testing on this tomorrow, on the automated version of it. I don't think it's something I want to use, the automated version. Although looking at the P&L, I mean, why wouldn't you? But I need to robustness test it because I'm not convinced it's this good. I am always skeptical when I find stuff that does this, because there's always an Achilles heel somewhere. However, saying that, once I've introduced drawdown control into it and it starts to remove these, and if it can maintain an equity curve that generates more than 5 or 10% a year per instrument, it's just a really good diversification to adding alongside the position trader EA into the portfolio. So that's a lovely. I'd have put that there, which it would have hit. But yeah. Anyway, we'll do this. We'll do more of this tomorrow, because it sort of set people's imaginations alight a little bit, that one. which is good. So those 2 sessions we did last week were basically on pretty much the same thing. So we're going to do more of the same tomorrow. If there's any other things, members, that you want in the member streams, obviously let me know. Stick them in the members group, and we can have a look at anything else as well. Euro pound, we've got a 4-hour RSI extension on that now as well. So there we go. So there's your 4-hour RSI. Whoops. Extension below the 20. So really good looking buy opportunity there if you want to long that one. So we're just looking for a pullback on that leg. So don't get too greedy on it. Look for that propulsion move maybe as your target to the upside. In here on the hourly, that is there. ADR basically. Barrier Man, welcome to the private stream. Sorry, I didn't mean to shout then. I probably deafened everybody, didn't I? Barrier Man, welcome to the private streams. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully I can join the private Discord on this account. Yes? You're already in the private Discord, aren't you? Or you're not? No, maybe not. I don't know. You will, yeah. The instructions for joining the private Discord are on the... If you go into any of the streams... No, actually, if you go into the channel here, in posts, sorry, there. That post teaches you how, or shows you how to link. So you should be able to. Right, I'll leave it there. Hopefully we'll get that DAX across the line. It looks like it's off now. So we're definitely going to get the gap filled by the looks of things on the DAX. So hopefully that will pay for that today and generate a little bit of profit. Yeah, and I'll be back on Wednesday morning. So normal live streams are Mondays. No, I won't. Wednesday afternoon, sorry. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Wednesday afternoon, 2:30, we'll trade the NAS and the Dow. And we'll obviously do a midweek analysis. We will have had the ADP non-farm by then. And then obviously prepare for non-farm payroll on Friday. All right, so have a good day. If you need anything, I'll be in Discord. Other than that, I'll be back on Wednesday. But if you're in the members streams, I will see you tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock as usual. All right, have a good day.